back with another episode of the McKinney ISD Podcast, and today we have a very special guest, our very own McKinney ISD School Board President, Philip Hassler. We're so happy you're with us today.
Shelley, it's a delight. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm so excited. Okay, well, let's get started. So I wanted to start with just tell us about your background and what led you to serve on the school board in the first place.
Yes, I started serving on the school board in February of 2020. And my background is growing up in Arlington, Texas, and then had the opportunity to go to university down in Waco, follow that with graduate school up in Dallas. And then through unique, just figuring out what I wanted to do with my life, I was involved with business. I was involved with law. And then finally ended up owning a Chick-fil-A restaurant. So for these last 13 to 14 years, I have the privilege of owning a Chick-fil-A restaurant in the Richardson area. We moved to McKinney in 2016 because of my being here in the Collin County area. And we chose McKinney specifically because of the schools. And my wife has been significantly involved in the community as well. And through an opportunity of her involvement and then an opportunity to become available for the school board to step in, I had the privilege of being nominated to step in, and then I ran again in 2021 for an actual position and have been serving again for these last 5 years.
That's great. And you have two amazing kids.
I have amazing kids, and two of them. I have one who is graduating from McKinney High School. She's now at the University of Arkansas studying nursing and doing well. I also have an incredible son by the name of Grant, and he is at McKinney High School in his end of his sophomore year and enjoying that as well.
I love it. All right, well, tell us about what is the most rewarding part of being on the school board?
I love working with the leaders and the teachers and the staff here. The more time I have spent with those individuals who shepherd and guide and lead this school district, the more I feel so honored and appreciative of the work they do and to be a part of it. I highly respect each one of the individuals that is a part of McKinney ISD, and these past 5 years have only given me greater confidence and the ability to feel so comfortable and that our students, our kids are being led so well. Also, the best part is when I get to elementary schools. Like, there'll be times they'll invite me to come in, and how can you not love that? Because you feel like a rock star. That make you feel so loved and welcome. And so those are the times that I will always cherish and remember, working with the leaders here and then also spending time amongst the students.
Well, and I think it's important for you to hear that what you just said about other people here is how everyone feels about you. It's so fun to hear the staff talk about and their excitement when you come to their campus or they see you around town. They're like, I saw Mr. Hassler. And I just think it's so neat, like what you've built here, just a culture where people feel so comfortable coming and talking to you and giving feedback and positive or hard, like you take it and you then come back and want to make positive change that's good for kids and teachers. And so I think that's just a neat part of your legacy here and what's been just important to see for our staff. They just value what you bring to our district.
You're kind. No, it's perfect.
They value what you bring to our district. So
I'll take whatever I get. But I appreciate that, Shelley. And I want to credit Superintendent Pratt and his predecessor, Rick, for setting a culture that is welcoming and that is open to feedback, to we're all in this together, to a desire to truly serve the students every day. I think that so often, if you're in public, or I would say as a parent, you could maybe not know all that goes on in educating and shepherding our children in a school district. And I feel so privileged to be a part of these last 5 years to really see what is required. Education is a calling. It is not something that an individual chooses just to fall into. You can maybe do that a year, but you're not going to stick around. And so, those who are with education and choose to be education are called to that profession and have a heart to help and to guide those children. And so that's what I love being a part of the school district, because this is not a job. This is a calling for these people. And to be a part of that and to see how passionate they are, especially in these unique and challenging times, I feel so privileged.
That's so important. Okay, well, let's talk about the hard stuff.
All right.
What is the hardest part of being on the school board right now?
I would say certainly the financial constraints that are being placed upon us by this state. prior to my involvement in the school board, I really didn't understand how school funding works. We chose McKinney because we knew it has robust, incredible schools. And we also know that many people choose to live here because of the standard of living and all the options that are available to us. And so you think, okay, all that money that is being raised in McKinney stays in McKinney. It doesn't. And it has been so eye-opening for me to see how the money comes, but it quickly goes down to I-35 in Austin and then is distributed back to us as they see fit. And that puts significant constraints on us to try to do what is best for our students. And so to me, that has been the most difficult part. I applaud the way that, again, Superintendent Pratt and others in leadership have really worked to make sure that in these unique budgetary times, our students are the most important priority, and also supporting our teachers, but also making those hard decisions about what we need to do with the money we do have available to us from the state that can continue to best impact the students, but also to recognize there's some things we may need to let go just because the funds aren't there.
Sure. And I think it's important for people to know, too, that what the board has been so diligent about is making sure that money goes to teachers for pay raises, to safety and security to make sure that our students and staff are safe in buildings, and then for funding programs like special education. And so I just think it's neat to really know that the board, those are the board's priorities. And that's really kind of a segue into my next question is really what do you see as the board's top priorities? And I think finance and funding is one of them, but
Sure.
Are there others?
So the others I would say is certainly communication advocacy. I've been so impressed by other board members that I serve with who have stepped up and are really advocating on behalf of public schools in general, not just for McKinney ISD, but public schools in general. Spending time with representatives, spending time in Austin, spending time with others to make sure that our elected officials down in Austin know the impact of their decisions. And so I think in this day and age, advocacy is very, very important on the board, and also to a sense of communication. Shelley, you were so kind to allude to, I think maybe one of the areas that I do bring value in is in creating an environment where people they can feel they can give feedback. And I want that to be something that McKinney ISD is known for, because we want our parents and all stakeholders in the community to feel like they are heard. We may not be able always to do what they desire, but we want them to feel valued and heard and treated with dignity, as opposed to what often can occur in government organizations where people just don't feel like they are treated in a way that makes them feel they are important and that their concerns are not heard. And so that's something that I'm so thankful McKinney ISD does, and I know will continue doing.
And do you have ways you think, because I hear this all the time from parents, how can I stay involved? How do I stay informed? And so what suggestions do you have as someone who's sitting on the board? How do you think our parents and communities can best stay informed in what's happening in McKinney?
Well, this is where I want to shout out to my wife, because she really, her part and passion is service and being involved at the local level. And so my really encouragement it would be for the parent is to volunteer at their school, at their child's school. That is the best place to get plugged in, whether it be PTO, PTA, start there. Then go to a meeting of a PTO or PTA, and then go to a community night event there at the school. My encouragement would to do that, because what happens is you get in the community there and you build those relationships, whether it be the leaders of the school or more teachers, and you hear and see all that's going on, and that only elevates your ability to truly understand, as opposed to maybe what might be said in social media, what might be said in other channels that just don't really come from a place of truth all the time. And so my encouragement would just volunteer at the local level. I remember our last board meeting, we had another individual speaking in our public forum talking about her advocating for those who maybe are in a later season of their life, don't have children at home, that they volunteer at the school themselves, whether it be just through mentoring or tutoring, reading. That's another way. So I really just encourage volunteer at the local level. And then from there, take the time to learn how schools are funded, because then that will give you the opportunity to maybe advocate on behalf of the school district where it's most important for us.
Well, I love that you said the mentoring piece, because we have reached mentors in McKinney ISD, and it's one of those areas that you want to continually grow, and our kids need you. And so when people say, how do I connect or how do I help the school district? And it may not necessarily be through funding or finance that they could help, but they can help by an hour a week helping a kid, because you're looking at attendance and grades and getting kids to school. And so I love that you said that, because I think that's a huge need, especially going into next year, as we had to minimize and reduce in some areas, but one area that's not going to be reduced is the way we take care of our kids. Sure. So I think Reach Mentoring is a great place for that. And you brought up your lovely wife, Miss Hassler, and I love that you guys are so involved also in the McKinney Education Foundation. Sure. And I think that's another great way that she has really advocated for our school district and through that. So I just wanted to shout out to Miss Hassler because
shout out to Sarah.
Amazing.
No, she is, and without her encouragement and involvement, I wouldn't be in the role that I am. And so I feel so privileged again to be sitting here with you and to have this experience these last 5 years. But I know it's also because of her involvement in local community that has allowed me to this role. I love what I do business-wise, and I know if I did not have her encouragement to look beyond my work, I would merely be focused on it. So I really appreciate her and others who have encouraged me to look beyond just merely working and to see how we can help the community.
A power team in McKinney. We need a lot of that. It's great. That. I love it. I love it. Kind. Well, my last question really circles around. You know, we have an election coming up soon. Election day being May 3rd. Yes. And your position is up for re-election and your name is not on the ballot, Mr. Hassler. So I want to talk a little bit about that and just what do you hope your legacy has been? Because, you know, you've certainly made a huge impact in McKinney ISD. And I would say that's the truth. People say that all the time. So really, like, what are your next steps? What do you want your legacy to be? You just want to circle around with what's next for you? Well,
it's a good question. So in my closet, I have a quote that I put up, and it was so remember I came on in February of 2020. In March of 2020 is when we shut down. And so it was a unique time where I had no background in education and then going into school board, and then it just being one of the most unique times for anyone in school life. And as you know, there was times of contention at board meetings, and there was times of really trying to navigate a whole list of things. Well, the quote I had and I put in my closet, it said, "The price good men pay for indifference to local affairs is to be ruled by evil men." And so to me, that is an encouragement, a reminder that we need individuals to be involved locally in what's going on and a desire to serve. Now, that may be, again, as we talked about, you're just volunteering at a local elementary school and being involved mentoring there. It may mean that you actually, volunteer to be on a board somewhere, whatever that level it is, so that you're helping to give back that way. Or if you choose to run for local office or even higher. But I really want, I guess, my legacy and a charge to me as well is to remain involved locally, because we can become consumed by what we see in our national and even state, but I know that I am probably in no way qualified for the roles, but I can help tutor and mentor maybe a young individual at elementary school, or I can volunteer for an organization who needs me an hour a week. And so that's what I guess I say that as in terms of maybe a legacy and also a charge to me for what I want to maintain. Because hopefully my business will continue to do well and it'll expand, and I know that will allow me maybe even more focus on that, but I don't want to lose that that heart and that desire to serve others. And through this, I've got to meet incredible people like you, Shelley, and Carla behind the camera here as well. So I'm just saying, like, I know my world is so much better for having volunteered and having stepping up, as opposed to just merely being in my little world of work and staying insulated. So I am a better person for having been a part of McKinney ISD and being serving. Same for us. We're better because we had you. It's kind. Amazing. You're kind. Do you have any advice for the person who takes your seat? Really, whoever does take my seat, I really encourage them to, I guess, be so open to listening and to go out of their way to reach out to have people be heard. I think that's one of the most important parts of the role, because then it removes that perceived barrier that people that are in the public may just think, oh, these board individuals are in their own world. They really don't understand what's going on. So that would be my encouragement. And then also, too, that in the times where there is stress, maybe you have different parties who are advocating different things, to treat everybody with honor, dignity, and respect. To recognize, though I may disagree with what this individual says and even the method of which they're advocating for it, I do want to help or make sure they feel heard and that they feel that they are treated with dignity. Because if you do that, then that allows them to feel, at least if I end up not doing what they want, they were respected, and that hopefully that will build a bridge for further times where we can communicate it and it's not such a contentious thing. So that's what would be my hope for the next individual stepping in.
Very good. All right. Before we move on to our rapid fire questions, any last things you want to say to the McKinney ISD family?
McKinney ISD family, I said this at the board meeting, but I truly mean, like, when that time comes for me to step away from this earth, there will be a few things that I want listed in my obituary, and that will be certainly husband and father. But I really feel so lucky to be board president and be on the board. Like, I mean that. Like, I know it helped me grow in so many ways. And so I thank you, board. I mean, thank you to the MIDS community for welcoming me and for making me feel so, what it says, making me feel better than I probably am, and treating me better than I really probably deserve to be treated. So that's what I so much appreciate, and I will miss you, guys, each one of you. But know that I will still be around, and I look forward to, if there's other ways that I can serve. I can clean toilets at McKinney High.
We're just going to sign you up for all the committees.
No.
Mr. Hassler, we know.
No. But like, I can do whatever. I can pick up trash. So whatever it takes. I'm looking forward to continue to be involved.
Awesome, I love it. All right, well, we're going to end with fun rapid fire questions. So just
I will quickly.
First thing you think of.
Okay.
Favorite food.
Oh, Chick-fil-A for sure.
I love it. We guessed. We were like, maybe he's going to say that.
No, it has to be.
Well, we're all big fans.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, favorite movie.
Oh my gosh. So I'm such a typical like guy, 40-year-old guy. Like, I loved Training Day. I loved anything Denzel Washington in, Man on Fire. I wish I could say something was nobler, but I just loved that him as a character who he is. So that's kind of my favorite movies.
I love it. Any TV shows you're watching right now?
So my wife and I do occasionally get on kicks, or we're really, really into a TV show. I guess the most recent one that we've kind of got into, there was a show called Kim's Convenience that's been on Netflix. It's an old Canadian show that is just really, really funny. It's a great comedy show. So Kim's Convenience on Netflix, we really enjoyed.
Okay. What's your ideal vacation?
Great debate amongst our family about that. So if, because some people are beach people and some people are mountain people. As we age, I find peace to be my most enjoyable vacation. So whether that be at the beach or the mountains, I don't care. But as long as able to relax and to be able to enjoy our time, I'm great with that.
I love it. All right. 3 things you cannot live without.
Oh, okay. Unsweet tea and lemonade from Chick-fil-A. I literally
together?
Together.
Mixed together. Okay.
And I will go into a mini panic attack if at the end of Saturday I only have half a gallon of unsweet tea and lemonade in my refrigerator. I will go down to the store that night to make sure I have a full gallon to get me through Sunday and into Monday. Like, I always have to have, and I know my wife is at home laughing at this because she's just true. Second, I very much wow, that's so funny. I very much enjoy, I guess I would say, always carrying a pen on me. My dad always had me kind of the idea that every successful person carries a pen. So that was something that I always like to kind of keep around or whatnot. And then lastly as well, I guess I'm always a nerd about, I guess it sounds so pathetic, but I'm getting nerded, tripped out on health stuff. So like, I always have my Oura Ring on me or my Apple Watch, just because I love to track all my health data and whatnot. So that's kind of my.
Do you check it daily? Like, you check your sleep and your.
Yes, every morning when I wake up, I'm checking my, what is my score? Like, even like, and again, my family's gonna laugh at me, but like, I have a toothbrush that will quantify how well I did on my brushing.
I didn't know that existed.
Oh, it does. So I literally have to make sure I get a 95 and above every day, and if I don't, I'm very disappointed.
I think I need one of these.
So yeah.
To check into this.
So I do kind of gamify everything in my life that I can have a number. We'll go into therapy later about that. But yes, that's the things that I do kind of can't live without.
I love it. These are good. This is my favorite part of the episode.
Yes, you learn so much about someone.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, that is what we have for today. I just want to thank you so much for all that you do. It's so interesting. Like, throughout my career, I've worked with a lot of different leaders, and you're truly like one of a kind. People like you, there's not many of you out there. And so
probably a good thing, but thank you.
No. It's amazing. So thank you so much for what you do, and thank you for being on today.
Thank you, Shelley. I really enjoyed our time together.
Me too.